Over the last several weeks, I have been talking with real estate agents, real estate brokers, mortgage brokers, and one thing has become self-evident is I think there's clearly been a vibe shift post-election. It certainly feels to me that there are more people looking to make investments, more people thinking growth versus fear. But you know what? I think the ultimate tale will be Mr. Bo Eckstein, the concierge to small business lending. Let's figure out what's going on with small business lending. Are people buying businesses like Cody Sanchez? Are people looking at and evaluating franchises? Are they sticking their toe in the water and looking at vending? Bo, what is going on? Have you seen any difference post-election, or am I just all wet?
Well, I mean, from my standpoint, when I talk to the banks that do a lot of SBA lending, they're all extremely busy. Absolutely extremely busy. The bank that I work with is the largest franchise lender in the nation, or I would say first or second. I don't know the exact number. They are backlogged with franchise startups. So I would say that it's going to continue to be this way. I think people were distracted with all the politics, and now people are just like, all right, let's go out and
let's do something. Yeah, it's really weird. And again, it's a good thing. Let me be very clear. The vibe shift is a good thing. I think a lot of folks were scared, nervous. And when you're scared or nervous as a consumer, what do? You retreat, you pull back. And it feels like we were set up for, a tough road. And I don't know what happened. The election happened. There's certainty in the results. And it is clear as day, not only in real estate, but even here in the Silicon Valley, which leans blue. I mean, like really deep blue. I'm even talking to people in tech, in small companies, and that sales guys, right? That's my network. I've been in sales for 20 years, and all of them are talking about it's just different. And I have to imagine, if I'm right, or what we're seeing is right, this small business is going to be a big thing. People are going to be investing, they're going to be buying, they're going to be looking at franchises. And I think a growth mindset is so much better for the economy than a fear in contraction. It just feels different.
I think the point is that most of us are looking at social media and we're watching the news. What is it doing? It's putting doubt into our mind, right? If you turn that off and you didn't know what was going on, like I tell people, look, I've had great years. The last couple of years have been great for me. I know I've talked to some of my other people and they're saying I feel it in the pocketbook, right? And I think those people now are like, okay, well, it's over. Now let's move forward. Right. And at the same point, I think people are realizing, look, nobody's going to save you except yourself. And the only way you can save yourself is to be educated. And, yesterday I talked to a one rental guy. He's a very successful pilot. And I'm like, man, you don't really have an income problem. You have a tax problem. So how do we fix that? We need to learn tax strategies and things like that. So I'm pretty sure the people that want to do something this year are going to do it, right? If you want to do something, you're going to do it. And I'm pretty bullish going forward. I think the real estate market will continue to be tight, but I think there's other opportunities in business. There's always opportunities in real estate. Like there's people flipping houses, people buying rentals. That's going to continue.
Well, I think you've just said something. I think what happened post-election, I think there's a general exception that rates are going to be where they are, and people are done waiting. I think there's a lot of people that were just waiting to wait, and they're like, okay, I give up. I'm not waiting. I'm going to do the thing. Is the thing buying a primary home? Maybe. And again, if you look at the mortgage data that came out this morning, it's up 12.4%. Who the heck saw that coming when we got rates at 7%? I really do think consumers are to the point where they're like, I'm done waiting. I'm going to make a move. I'm going to do a thing. And in small business, that might be, I'm going to buy that franchise. I'm going to buy some vending machines. I'm going to go do what Cody Sanchez does and buy a small or medium-sized business with seller financing or whatever. I just think consumers are done waiting. And again, I've told people for years, consumers can contract for about 6 months. Typically speaking, consumers aren't great at pulling back for a long time. And you know what? we've had 6 months of contraction and pullback and waiting and nervousness and fear. People are done with that nonsense. They're enjoying the holidays. They're making moves. And I think 2025 could prove to be an interesting year.
I'm bullish on 2025, and I think it's all what you make of it. At the end of the day, the people that are actually taking action, it doesn't really matter up, down, sideways. People that take action and continue to go forward are going to win. And so I think that's the whole point. It's like, let's not get caught up in all the media, the back and forth. It doesn't get you anywhere. And it's like, I just want to know the facts. Like, just give me the facts and let me understand it. You know, if I before I've asked you like economic questions, I'm like, okay, is this true? And you're like, yeah, I've studied economics for 35, 40 years. That is true. And so that's all I want to know. And then I want to know, like, well, is real estate going to go up? Is the price of my house in Las Vegas, is it going to be worth more in 20 years? Our rent's going to be up? Yes. Okay, well, maybe owning a house makes sense, right? I look back the other day, sometimes I go through all the real estate I've sold that I've owned. And I bought my first house in San Ramon, California, when I was 22 or 23 years old on a lease option. I owned one side. It was like a duplex, but you owned a half side. And I bought it on a lease option. I couldn't qualify in the beginning. And I did the lease option. I set the price at $325. A year later, it appraised at $375. I was able to take it down and purchase it. Then I did a house hack. I didn't know what a house hack was. I rented a room to my friend Josh, and I rented a room to my friend Joe, and they paid the mortgage. Right. Then I moved out, and I moved to Tahoe to open a mortgage company. And then I said, oh, well, I'm moving. And my brother was looking for a house, so I sold it to my brother. But that house that I paid $325 in whenever 20 years ago, it's worth $1.2 million today. Okay, why didn't I just keep that house? Why didn't I keep that little duet, right?
Yeah.
And then I looked at the house I owned in Incline Village. I owned a house a block and a half off of the water in Incline Village, where the billionaires are kicking out the millionaires. During the downturn, I was financially stressed, so I had to sell that property. Somebody bought that house and remodeled it. It was on the market for $3.2 million. So I had bought it for $595 back in the day. So the point is like, look, we know if you can hold real estate long term, you're going to be it's going to make you money. So that was a learning lesson for me. It's like, look, you gotta set it and forget it and own it and get the mortgage paid for, taken care of. And if you can do that and hold for 10, 15 years, you'll become wealthy. Right. Yeah. And so fast forward 25 years later, and I realized that I made a few mistakes if looking back. So going forward, I won't make those same mistakes, because I know real estate's going to be worth a lot more in 20 years than it is today.
There you go. Well, folks, if you're excited about 2025, you don't know if a franchise is right for you, you don't know if vending is right for you, there's lots of things you could do, but the best thing you could do is go to onerentalmeeting.com and book a call with Bo. He is the concierge to small business lending. He is helping One Rental at a Time fans all the time, and he loves to do it. Bo, onerentalmeeting.com. Closing thoughts?
No, I'm just excited. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. This might come out a day out later. I'm not sure when it will, but have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy. Guys, get ready. This is the time to turn it up right now. Like, I'm so amped. I actually was just talking to somebody about hiring another virtual team member to grow my business. So I'm always investing into myself. So I hope you guys do the same, because I know 2025 will be my biggest year ever. I hope for everybody out there that's on the One Rental channel, I hope you have the same mindset. I hope to see you in February at the event, and let's go strong. Let's make 2025 the best year ever. Like, awesome, game-changing year. Let's 2, 3, 4x what we do in a normal year.
Yeah, again, folks, I think we're set up to have a buyer's market, at least in the first half of year in real estate. Take advantage of that. Again, I think just the vibe shift, it's becoming pretty obvious. And I like to see it. I hate economies or whatnot when we're all scared, consuming, or scared and pulling back. I like it when we're excited and hopeful for the future. Bo, you're amazing. Again, onerentalmeeting.com. Thanks, buddy.
All right. See ya.